G'day folks, Andy here from McDowall Manor. So I was out collecting some cherry tomatoes, and what I'm doing is having an attempt to, I'm cutting them in half and we're going to put them out in the sun and see if we can do traditional style sun-dried tomatoes. If it works, I'll be a very happy man. Never done it this way before. I've done it in a dehydrator, electric dehydrator, but trying to return to the old simple ways, hey? So I'll cut these out and I'll put them outside, give you a look at that, and we'll come back then after that and hopefully it'll work. The reason I'm having a crack at this is my veggie son is coming over tomorrow night and I've got an abundance of eggs, and I thought, what can I do? I'll make a quiche, that'll use up a heap of the eggs. But I needed something to flavour up the quiche and I can't use meat. So I figured a sun-dried tomato quiche would be just a trick. Chopped up and sitting out on that bench I made out of that barbecue trolley that I found on the side of the road. So I stuck them out the back in the big girl's yard because I keep an eye on that from inside. I guess I better watch out for birds and ants, I guess. Anyway, let's see what happens. So there's those semi-dried tomatoes. I guess I should admit that I did have to cheat and use the dehydrator. Just ran out of time, folks. I did it for about 3 hours out in the sun. Clearly was nowhere near enough, so in order to get it done for tonight I just dehydrated for a couple of hours overnight and we're good to go. I think if I will have another crack at using the sun to dry the tomatoes because I like the idea of it, but I think I'll build a little solar frame using alfoil and just cover the top with Glad wrap or something to keep the heat in. The other thing I'll do is I'll salt the tomatoes to draw some of the liquid out faster. Anyway, we're about to get on to the pastry. So in the food processor we have roughly 1 3/4 cups of plain flour and some cubed up butter. That's 150 grams of cubed up butter, give or take. We're going to process that up and then we'll add an egg yolk. Alright, so there it is all processed up. We're going to add 1 egg yolk and 2 tablespoons of chilled water. So you can see how that looks once it's incorporated, kind of interesting. Then I'm going to flip that little guy out onto this lightly floured surface and give it a knead until it's smooth. So that's now been kneaded and rolled into a rough disc shape. Oh, it's probably not kneaded enough, but I did it for about, I don't know, 3 minutes. But then I got lazy and thought, bugger that. So I've just shaped it up into a disc. That'll go into the fridge now for at least half an hour to rest and cool. And then it can be rolled out into a proper quiche bottom. Beauty, eh? So we're about to, the oven's on and preheating to 220 for that base. I'm going to fry up some blitzed onions. That'll go in the base of the quiche along with the dried tomatoes. Base, short crust base, rolled out. You're probably thinking, but Andy, it's not neat like the shop bought ones. Well, too damn right actually. It's meant to look like a kind of farmhouse quiche, and that's as good as I can be prepared to do, quite frankly. There's my detachable bottom quiche dish. It's one of those ones that, you know, unclips here and the bottom can come out so we can get the quiche out easy. I've rubbed a little bit of butter in there, not too much. About to throw the base in the quiche pan and I'll give you a look. There we go, that's far from perfect. I'll line that with with some baking paper and pour some rice on it. Can I use that as a weight? Some uncooked rice obviously. In fact, there's the offending brown rice that I'll use over there. And then I can see the oven's just about good to go, so we'll throw her in. Alright, going in the oven. Around about 200 degrees. There's some baked veggies for dinner. And that, oh, there's my model legs. So you can see it's not quite 200 because a little red light's on, but it's not far off. We'll do that for 20 minutes. So you saw the base, the short crust base. That's a nice standard base. If you're doing a sweeter one, add some caster sugar. Otherwise do it the same way. This is the egg mix. So it's pretty standard too. It's 8 eggs. I'll use the girls' eggs. So the whole point of cooking the quiche was to use up some eggs. Look at that funny little quail egg there. It's not really a quail egg, it's one of the girls. I don't know what happened, she only did it one day. Anyway, I'll use 8 eggs plus that egg white that I had left over from the pastry. I'll use some Parmesan cheese. You can use, depending on what you're cooking, use different cheese types. I thought a sharper bitey cheese would be good with the tomato. So I'll probably use a bit less than 100 grams of that because it is quite strong. And then we'll use a half a cup of normal pure cream. I use a light cream. Don't ask me why I use a light cream, since there's so much bloody butter and cheese and stuff in this recipe, it's crazy. Don't eat this every night, folks, you'll die of a heart attack. Anyway, so we're about to construct that simple egg mix. Okay, so there's our par-baked short crust pastry. We're about to add the onions, and then the semi-dried tomatoes. We'll add those two on the bottom. That's kind of the flavour layer, is the way I look at it. And then on top of that goes the egg mixture. So let's have a look. We'll have a crack at that and we'll see how we go, eh? Okay, there's our base and our flavour layer. We're about to add the egg mix, folks. Here we go. Okay, the egg mix is in. Now this step is a little critical, folks. Add some salt and pepper. Season to taste. Everything has been done, and we're going to put it in the oven now at 180. I've turned the oven down for about 45 minutes. Well, that's the end product. Actually, it looks pretty bloody good, to be honest. Yeah. I'm not going to cut it tonight because it's way late. It's 10 o'clock at night. The boy didn't come over for dinner. Typical Al. Good on you, mate. Anyway, he didn't come for dinner, so we're going to have that tomorrow night. Wow, looks alright.